The insult doesn't hit the room like thunder. It moves slower, thick, deliberate, like a cold finger tracing the spine of a quiet evening. "Look at you," Victor Langford murmurs, barely lifting his jeweled wrist as if pointing would dirty the air. "Driving a car you could never afford, wearing a suit that was probably on clearance. It must be exhausting, pretending proximity to wealth counts as having it." The corridor of the Langford Hotel is muted gold. Light rests softly on polished marble. Reflections stretch clean and long across the floor, broken only by the calm stance of the chauffeur, Elias Ward, hands clasped loosely behind his back, posture still, breath steady. Victor expects flinching. He expects shrinking. Elias simply watches him with a composed, unbothered patience, the kind that unnerves because it doesn't resist. It understands. Guests drift past, offering curious glances. Victor straightens his cuff, delighted by his own performance. "People like you," he continues, "should know their place. Stay useful, stay silent, and maybe someone with actual influence will throw you a meaningful job one day." Elias tilts his head slightly, not offended, not impressed, just absorbing every word with a quiet intelligence that refuses to bend. Victor smirks, unaware of the ground shifting beneath him. Elias breathes once, slow and controlled. Then, with a voice soft enough to be mistaken for courtesy, he replies, "Are you sure you understand who I am?" The Langford Gala is where the elite come to congratulate themselves. Soft jazz floating under crystal chandeliers, champagne resting in thin-stemmed glasses, the hum of wealth swirling like perfume. Elias stands near the valet entrance, a figure meant to blend into utility. People rarely look twice at chauffeurs. They only check if the car is warm. Victor Langford, heir to the Langford fortune, thrives in this ecosystem. His suit is charcoal, his shoes sharp enough to reflect the chandeliers. He gestures at people as if granting permission to exist in his orbit. He first notices Elias when the board members arrive. Elias opens each door with measured precision. No flourish, no servitude, just quiet, practiced grace. That subtle lack of deference irritates Victor. "You there?" he says, flicking his fingers. "When I call, you move. Understood?" Elias nods once. "As you wish, sir," but his tone contains an ease that doesn't match the role. A tone Victor hears, but doesn't interpret correctly. Later, in the hall outside the ballroom, Victor stops Elias again. This time, the disrespect sharpens, testing limits. "You watch everything, don't you?" Victor says. "Makes sense. People with no power always study those who run the world." Elias's eyes lift, steady and calm. "People reveal more than they intend if you pay attention." Victor scoffs, walking off. "Spare me the philosophy. You're here to drive, not think." Yet even as he leaves, something about Elias's composure lingers. A quiet confidence out of place, a clue waiting to be understood. Elias returns to the garage, where the murmuring sounds of engines warming fill the concrete space. He moves through it like someone who's walked richer floors. His past is not loud. It exists in subtle fragments. Fine watches worn down by time, a briefcase with initials no chauffeur brags about, and a posture formed in rooms where decisions shaped markets. He once managed wealth larger than the Langfords could imagine, but that story, for now, remains folded neatly out of sight. Upstairs, Victor's irritation grows. A board member asks him to ensure every staff member is treated with respect, especially the new chauffeur assigned to key clients. Victor bristles. "You mean him?" He gestures vaguely. "He's just a driver." "Still," the board member replies, "we treat all our people with dignity. Your father insisted on that." Victor swallows his annoyance. Dignity is negotiable in his world. Perception is not. Later, he finds Elias near the luxury sedans, double-checking schedules. "You're paid to follow orders," Victor says. "So when I tell you to stand closer, you stand closer. When I tell you to quiet down, you quiet down. That's the role." Elias turns with quiet precision. "And what do you believe your role is, sir?" Victor freezes, not from offense, but from confusion. People rarely question him with such poise. "I lead," Victor snaps. "I make decisions. I control this place." Elias simply nods, as if cataloging a thought. That calm nod unsettles Victor more than an argument ever could. The next shift of power begins at the investor meeting, an event Victor believes he commands. The board convenes in a mahogany-lined room, each seat reserved for someone who moves money through quiet conversations. Elias enters not as staff, but as a requested attendee. He takes a seat near the back, unobtrusive. Victor doesn't notice at first. Chauffeurs are invisible to him by design. The chairman clears his throat. "Before we begin, our silent investor has asked to attend today." Victor straightens. He has never met this silent investor, but speaks of him often, insisting he'd impress the man if ever given the chance. The chairman continues. "He prefers discretion, but tonight he felt clarity was needed. excited. A soft sound of a chair being moved draws Victor's attention. He turns and sees Elias standing. For a moment, Victor can't reconcile it. The suit Elias wears now is tailored, immaculate, not flashy, powerful in its restraint. Elias offers a small nod to the board, the same calm gesture Victor dismissed earlier. "Thank you for granting me space," Elias says. "I wanted to observe how things are managed at ground level." Whispers ripple through the room. Victor's mouth opens, but words fail. Elias continues gently, never raising his voice. "And I learned much from those who mistake visibility for value." Eyes shift toward Victor. No accusation, just observation. The humiliation doesn't strike suddenly. It arrives softly, settling onto Victor like an unwelcome shadow. The meeting proceeds with a new atmosphere. Measured, attentive, cautious. Victor tries to regain footing, his voice thinner than usual. I didn't realize," he murmurs at one point. Elias glances toward him with composed neutrality. "Most people don't," he replies softly. "They react to what they think they see. No anger, no triumph, just truth set gently on the table." The board discusses expansion plans, and Elias contributes with the ease of someone who built companies rather than merely inherited them. His insights are precise, strategic, grounded. Each comment quietly contrasts Victor's earlier arrogance in the hallway. When the meeting ends, Victor hesitates by the door, waiting for a private moment. The confidence he once flaunted is replaced by a tentative humility. "I misjudged you," Victor says, eyes lowered. Elias studies him, not to judge, but to understand. "Status is often mistaken for substance," he says, "but a person's worth isn't defined by who serves them, only by how they treat those they believe must." Victor nods slowly, absorbing the lesson without resistance. Later, as Elias prepares to leave the building, the same marble corridor glows with soft light. Victor stands nearby, quieter now, his voice carrying none of the earlier superiority. "If you ever have guidance to offer," he says, "I'm willing to listen." Elias simply offers a small, respectful nod. Growth begins when listening replaces assumption. He steps into the elevator, its doors reflecting both men, one humbled, one unbothered, both changed. And over that final stillness, a quiet truth settles. Power is never loud. It simply refuses to bend.